Greetings everyone, welcome to Just Advanced, and this game is from the Esports World Cup, and this game is one hell of a game because we have with the white pieces one of the chess legends, Alexander Grischuk, and with the black pieces we have Oleksandr Bortnyk. So this game is between legend and youth, or legend or prodigy. So without further ado, let's start with this game. And here Alexander Grischuk starts with e4, and we have knight to f6 but just e5, and here knight to d5 just d4, and going for d6, going for the Alekhine defense, and here just knight to f3. We have d captures, knight captures, and just c6, and we have h3, bishop to f5, and just going for this g4. And with the start of the game, you can see that Sasha has played fantabulously well. I mean, he has restricted the development of the black's pieces, and here he's ready for an attack because he's definitely not going to castle kingside because he has pushed those pawns. So he just bishop to b6 by Bortnyk, and we have c4, and here knight to b4 but just bishop to e3, and here f6, knight to f3, and just going for this h5, just finally challenging those pawns. And with the move with falling back of the knight, the Sasha's position is so much better here because all he has to do, he has played just engine perfection here, just rook to g1, and here just h captures, and just going for a5. But now here just a3, this pushing the knight back, and here just knight 4 a6, and now you have to be very much careful. What Sasha did in this position is just normal development move. Knight to c3 was played, but here the best move in this position is queen to c2. And the infinite lines that follows queen to c2 is insane in this position because here the best move for white would be just to play for this queen to c7, and here after bishop to d3, now you go for this knight to d7, just trying and maybe castling queenside, but now you go for this bishop to g6. Now this not allowing black to castle, and here after king to d8, now you play this g5, and definitely trying to open up lines. b5, we have g captures first, and now g captures, and here going for this d5, immediately opening up the center, but now just c captures, and here instead of recapturing, now you develop the knight. And this is such a beautiful move with this knight to c3, but you have to be extremely careful. You cannot capture with d captures. If you capture, then you get this queen to e4, and now you realize that there's so much issues in this position. Now let's say you go attack queen. Now, obviously, you're gonna just capture that rook, and once the rook is captured, now you're gonna block, and here after queen captures, queen blocks, and now you get this position where you're rook down, which is just absolutely losing. So you could also do one more thing in this position, that you could go for this rook to b8, just moving the rook out of the way, but then you lose the bishop, and here slowly you'll see that the position just absolutely crumbles apart. Here the bishop will come in, and you're going to lose one of the knights and the game. So here this position after knight to c3 would have been absolutely winning, and here bishop to g8. And if you play bishop to g8, you're going to have to be very much careful because here c captures, and here once knight c to a5, castles. And now you can see that there's a lot of tension, and white is mostly going to be winning this. But here, avoiding all of this, we have just knight to c3, and it's not much of an issue, but you lose a little bit of tempo. And here just bishop to f7, but now comes queen to c2, and here just knight to d7, but now queenside castle. And you can see that the same thing is happening. You're going to push those pawns, you're going to push those pawns, and it's going to be completely winning for Sasha. While Xander Botnik, he doesn't have much in this position. Here queen to c7 was played, but now just c5, and here just b5, but now just going for this d5, and here knight captures, d captures, but now going for this bishop to b3, but now this queen to g queen to g6 check first, bishop blocks, and now queen goes back. And Botnik would love to repeat moves. I mean, if he can get a draw in this position, he would be very much happy. So he goes for bishop to b3, but now you have to find the star move in this position. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video and try and find a move which does not lose some material, and you can still win the game and continue your advantage. So have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move, and the move is the beautiful knight to d5, attacking the queen. Your queen is attacked, so you have to be careful, and there is nothing better for Botning. Botning has to capture, bishop captures, knight captures with a check, so you're gonna know you have to eliminate that knight. So here knight captures, king captures, and just e5. But now what follows is just brutal play, because just bishop captures, and here just king to d rook to d7, just finally going up, and that rook just slamming that rook in black's face, and saying that do something about it. Here bishop to e6, but now just going for this bishop to d3, and here this rook to h6, not allowing that check to happen, but now just going for this g5. And this g5 is such a beautiful move because what are you going to do in this position? Because you have nothing. You have a rook which is on d7. You have just pushed the pawn. If you capture, then just knight jumps into the game. Bishop is already slicing all the way through, rook is slicing. I mean, and king is still stuck in the center, and this is what happens when you make positional blunders in the opening itself. And you cannot make such mistakes against legends. you can try different openings, that's for sure, but you have to be prepared for it. You cannot come unprepared meeting a legend, because this is exactly what happens here. F captures was played, but now just here, not even bother to capture, but going for this bishop to e4, and here knight to e6, but just knight captures, and here going for this knight to d4 check, but now here king to b1 was played, and a few more moves, knight captures, just rook captures, and here knight captures, and here just bishop captures. Now you have to sacrifice some material to move forward, but here you can see that you're just going to be an exchange down, and you can try, but this position is, well, it was way lost blight from the opening, right? So there is no point. You can play a few more moves, but it's not going to matter. Here just bishop caps on f2 was played, and here just rook captures, but just this bishop d4, rook to b7, king to f8, and now just going for this rook to f5 check, king moves, rook to g5, king moves, and now just finally going for this rook caps on b5, just grabbing that pawn, and the threat is next, just to capture that. You're going to be a piece up and in completely winning position. So here just knight to c4 was played, but now just rook to g4, and now you're going to lose one of the pieces, or are you? Rook to d6, defending it, but now just going for this bishop to d5, just stopping that. So there is nothing you can do. The knight to d2 check was played, king to a2, but now just going for this bishop to e5, but now just king to g2, and it was on this move, on move 42, that Oleksandr Bortnyk resigned the game, and Sasha Alexander Grischuk got this spectacular victory in just 42 moves against a prodigy. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll be coming back with games like these from the recent and from the old ones. So stay tuned for this. Stay tuned to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you.